So that first problem we did this exercise. We had a 3x plus y equals 10, and we had a 2x minus 3y equals a value of 8. And I think we came up with, if I remember right, 38 over 11 and negative 4 over 11. We spent a lot of time doing that by hand, didn't we? Look at how quick that would have been to be able to do using the reduced row echelon form. So let's go back into the matrix menu. Let's slide on over to the edit column. Unless we have some affinity for keeping the old system that is currently in A, we can recycle it. Do we still want 2 rows and 3 columns? But we want a different set of ingredients now, right? So just enter and enter to get past that, and now we can start putting in our new ingredients. 3, 1, and 10, 2, negative 3, and 8. And we have to double check and see that all the values are in the screen, because unless you enter it, it doesn't transfer it up into the matrix. We have to quit to get back to the home screen. Now, here's where some things are a little bit different. Those of you that have the old, that have the new TI-83s, TI-84s, you can use your arrow key to scroll back up to that command, reduce row echelon on A again, instead of having to go back and recreate the command yourself. Those of you that have the old models, second and enter pulls up the last thing that was on your screen. Even if you cleared your screen or it's rolled off, it pulls up the last thing that was on the screen. Or you can go back in and do it by hand by saying, I'm going to go to the matrix menu, go into the math column, and you can also scroll up or down on this. So if I scroll up, it goes to the bottom of the list, and sometimes going to the bottom of the list gets you to where you want to go a little bit more quickly. But it's the only command that we use in this middle row. The only command we use in here is that reduce row echelon form. Just like the only command that we used in the stats menu was the one variable statistics. Okay? So reduce row echelon, and then you still got to pull up what's in A again. See, so the neat thing is that if you do that and you reuse the existing functions, it encourages you to reuse a particular matrix name, so you don't have to retype all the things over from scratch again. Now, this will happen to you somewhere along the line. I know at least one problem in the exercise sets is going to give you an answer that has a fraction in it. Not very many of them have fractions in them, but this one's not too pretty. So remember that math 1 operation that we had that converted a regular fraction, a regular decimal into a fraction, can also be applied to this. So if we were to do math 1 and tack that onto the end of the answer, or if we'd have put it at the end of the reduced row echelon before we entered it, notice there's the 38 over 11, and the new 84s actually write that as a fraction. And then we have negative 4 over 11. So we either have the old school that writes as the old way fractions in the problem, or the new way that writes them in this particular format. Okay? So that's a pretty decent trade-off in that any system that I get, I'm not really going to have to work by hand after that first one that's on the test. I'll be able to do everything by using the reduced row echelon form. There's got to be a catch to that, right? The catch is that not all the problems are going to have a system for you. Some of the problems are going to expect you to be able to take a word problem or a stated problem or a story problem, whatever you want to say it, and force you to translate it into a system.